This tutorial is going to cover how to get loads data into GLD. We'll begin with the average block loads module. As a reminder, the average block loads module is ideally suited for designs when the entire building loads are in one big block and the user wants to quickly design a heat exchanger. There are several ways to get loads into this module. The first way is to manually enter the loads in these boxes here with your cooling side and your heating side. For example, a user may enter a peak of 499 kBtu for cooling and maybe for heating 375. And additionally, the user wants to put in the annual equivalent full load hours down here. Say maybe it's 1500 here and 1200 here. That's the first way to enter this information. If a user has trouble calculating these annual equivalent full load hours, they can hit this calculate hours button here and then manually enter the peak hourly load here and the monthly total loads January through December here and hit calculate, and it'll calculate the hourly loads. So the first way of entering data is to manually enter data. The second way to enter data is to import it from an Excel spreadsheet, and I'll give an example here. If we hit this monthly loads button here, we can see that there are 4 columns of data: total cooling, total heating, and peak heating. Now if we have an Excel spreadsheet with the data in the same format, total cooling, total heating, and peak heating, all we need to do is copy these 4 columns of data and then go back into ground loop design and then hit this Excel button here, and the data are immediately transferred into GLD. It's very straightforward. If we hit the update button, we see that the monthly data button is here now represented in this more truncated format. And as you can see, the annual equivalent full load hour calculations are done automatically. So that's the second way to get the data in from Excel. Now the third way to get data in is to import directly from, say, a train trace program. To do this, I can hit this button here, which is the import loads button. Then I can navigate to, say, the train trace output file. In this case it's this one. Then I can hit open and it automatically brings the data in here. We see that this window over here opened as well, which shows you in detail what the data look like. We have our cooling side data and our heating side data. Additionally, if we hit the monthly loads button here, we can see the data that we imported as well. A new way to import data into GLD is through the hour-by-hour analysis input methodology. It's very straightforward. What we do is we can hit this button and then we can go to the hourly data files here. Then I can import an hourly sample. The program currently is taking 8760 hourly data and bringing it into the program and then displaying it. If I hit this monthly loads button here, we see the hourly data represented in a monthly fashion. We do it this way so it's easy to see everything. And then the monthly data is represented here in an even more truncated form. You also note when hourly data is selected and imported in, this hourly data button is active. And that's in summary how to bring data into the average block loads module. For the zone manager, we can also bring data in. The first way is to manually enter the peak and annual hours for each zone. And another way to do it is to import data from, say, the train trace files into the zone manager, one zone at a time. And the way we could do that is by making sure you've selected the right zone, hitting the import button, going to the file, the train trace output file that you want to import, and selecting it. And then it brings the data in again. And once again, we see this window opening up showing the detailed data before it's brought in. And if you have multiple zones, you can go through each zone and repeat that process. And that, in summary, is how to import loads data into GLD.